Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I have an interesting defensive puzzle for you guys, and in my opinion, there aren't enough of those out there on social media. Mostly what you see are brilliancy, checkmating, pattern, sequence of attacking moves. But as we know, defense is an incredibly important part of chess. It's not fun, it's not sexy, but it is very, very important. So let's jump in. All right, so here is the position, here's the puzzle. Black's pawns are going down the board, so our goal as white is simply to stop this runaway A pawn from promoting on the A file. See what you guys can come up with. Pause the video now. All right, what did you guys come up with? Some of you may have looked at this and thought, man, there's just no way. That's just impossible to stop that pawn from promoting. And I'm here to tell you that it actually can be done.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
There is a chance. So, as in many puzzles, if you don't know how to get started, a good idea would be to use process of elimination, especially when there aren't a ton of pieces on the board. So let's start with the dark squared bishop, where I imagine most people would start. We notice that if the black pawn promotes, it will be on a dark square, and we do have the dark squared bishop. So we need to get this bishop on this diagonal at some point, probably. So if we play a move like bishop to f6, that doesn't really help us because then black just pushes. We can take the pawn, black takes, white makes some move, and black's going to promote on the next move. That doesn't work. Same thing if we try to go the other route. If we go bishop to f2 to get on this diagonal, same exact thing. This does us no good. So we can't do anything with the dark square bishop. All right, what about the pawns? Pawn to d3, black pushes, we have nothing. If we push pawn to c3, black doesn't even have to respond to this. Again, they can push, and we can't stop the pawn. If we play c4 check, that really does nothing. Black can just sidestep that, play a move like this, and again, there's not really much we can do. We can play bishop to f6, black pushes, and we're stuck. Okay, so that leaves us with the king. Now, we could run after the pawn. That's very true. We could try.
Run, Forrest, run!
Run, king, run. Okay, yeah. That just don't work. All right. So this knight is obviously way too far away to catch this pawn, so I was actually just kidding. White's not going to be able to stop this pawn. Black will promote and win the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and we will see you on the next one.
Hey!
Kidding again. We do have a move. Knight c6 is what we're going to play. Now from here, there are several different things that black can try. We notice that if the king tries to back up and go to e6 or d6, I don't know why they do that, but if they went backwards, we would simply capture the pawn. And we'd bring our knight to b3, and then we are controlling the a1 promotion square. So that doesn't work. Okay. If the black king goes to c5, then we have this nice little tactic, bishop to e7, and we skewer the pawn. King has to move. We pick up the pawn. Black's pieces are ready for another game. That doesn't work for black. If the king tries to go to e4 or c4, these two moves are identical. Our continuation for white will be the same. Let's say they go to c4. So from here, white has about 73 different things that they can do to stop the pawn. We have knight to a5 check, knight to e5 check. Probably the simplest is just to sacrifice the knight. And if the king does not take the knight, if black pushes, then we bring the knight to b3 and we're controlling the promotion square. If black takes us, now we can play bishop to f6 and we skewer the king and the a1 square. King has to get out of the way. We go here, and if black wants to attack these pawns, the king's going to have to get on its bicycle and come around, and by that time we will have picked up the pawn. So that doesn't work. So that leaves black with one final option, which is to take our knight. From here, now we're going to play bishop to f6 because we forced black to waste a move by dragging it away from the defense of the pawn. From here, again, black cannot push. We'll take the pawn, and we're controlling the promotion square. So black has to go to one of these two squares to try to hold on to the pawn if they want to have any hope.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
So if the king goes to c5, then once again we have this tactic, bishop e7, and we're going to pick up the pawn. So black can't do that. If the king goes to d5, here's where it gets a little bit tricky. So I'll give you guys another shot at it. Pause the video and see what you can come up with from here. All right, did you find anything? So the correct move here is pawn to d3. This is a little bit of a difficult move to see. These next several moves are not easy to find. And so now if black pushes, okay, now we're going to play the move pawn to c4 check. Now black cannot take en passant, or we're going to take the pawn. We control the promotion square. The king, after c4, the king legally cannot go to these two squares. If the king backs up to one of these three squares, we're going to snap off the pawn. So black has to go to c5. And then from here, we're going to play an absolute gangster of a move. We're going to play king b7. Yikes. Black's king legally cannot go to those four squares. If the king goes to either one of these two squares, we're going to snap off the pawn and control. So you're thinking, well, why can't black just promote? They can. And we have bishop e7.
Game over.
Tom Petty says, don't come around here no more. So you might be thinking, why couldn't we have played d3 and c4 from the very beginning? Good question. Let's go back. The reason for that is if we play d3 and black pushes, now if we play c4, now they actually can take en passant because our bishop is not on f6. And now we have no way to stop this. The difference is when we play knight to c6, we are dragging the king away. That buys us one tempo. That buys us one move to go ahead and get on this f6 square. Now when we play d3 and they push, now we have c4 and they don't have en passant. And that allows us this really cool king b7 move. So I would encourage you guys, when you're in a position in your games when it looks absolutely completely lost, hopeless, I would encourage you to try to fight through that. Even use the rest of the time on your clock. I know it's not fun, but that's one of the big differences between a 1700 rated player and a 2000 rated player, is the higher rated players are very good at finding and exhausting all possibilities for defensive resources. So don't give up, fight through it, and see what you can come up with. Hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll see you on the next one.